Hey guys, I'm Boo. We're in New Jersey, and today is day 254 of my weight loss journey. Now, I've been doing this video, every week for, 8 months now? And, you know, I get a lot of feedback, and I get a lot of people who ask me questions, and I really love to answer questions. Now, today, out of the blue, I got a Facebook notification that I had a message request. And when I looked at it, I saw this woman. I had no idea who she was. And I read her message and I was like, really taken aback by it. And I'll go ahead and read it to you guys. It says, "Hi there. I happened to came across your profile and said, wow, he looks good. After after ending up spending hours watching your updates and your videos, very proud of you. I am in the process of going through weight loss surgery myself, and I wanted to thank you for your insight. I'm about a month and a half to go till surgery, even though I have been living a healthy lifestyle for several months now. Just wanted to tell you, amazing job and keep it up, and thanks." So I replied with this: "Thank you very much, and I'm so glad I could be a part of the inspiration to you. The surgery is not the easy way out. A lot of people don't understand that, and I'm really glad that you were able to see that in some of my videos. I wish you so much luck in the future, and if you do have any questions, feel free to ask me. It has been a long time since I've seen you, and I wish you all the best. Keep me updated. I'm shouting you out in my video, Sheila, and this week just for being awesome. Keep up the good work, and I'll talk to you soon, and let's be our best selves together." Now, that seems to be, the line I use every week now because it is so true. We are a community where these things just happen. And yes, I do know who this woman is. She is a woman that grew up in my area, same as me. She was big most of her life. And I met her around the way, a few times. She used to bartend at the bar around the corner from me. She used to work at the corner store, and she looked a lot different than she did then. She was a lot bigger then, but she's been working on this healthy lifestyle and trying to lose the weight. And, finally she's up for this surgery, which is, great. I won't say whether or not I think surgery is for everybody, but if you are in the position to get the surgery and you are on the fence about it, I definitely recommend it. There are some things that you are going to not like about it, but in the long run, it's going to help you. It's just a tool to help you move forward, in the way that you couldn't before. With that said, I'm going to go into basically this past week, as I always do. I give a recap of the week. Sorry the video is late today. This is going to be up on, I think, Sunday morning. Right now it's like 2 a.m. I already shot this video once and my camera crapped out, so I'm doing it on my Kinect camera just because, better quality and whatever. It won't crap out on me. Anyways, so this past week I went to Connecticut with my girlfriend to meet with some of her friends. Now, these guys I was so nervous about meeting because, of course, when you meet new people and you're somewhere, out of your element, it's a little awkward, a little strange, but these guys made me feel like I was right at home. We had such great conversations over the past weekend. We went to visit this guy Kyle, and we stayed at his house for the weekend, and he was very accommodating. He was really amazing, actually. Hooked us up with, made us tea, some like herbal scents and stuff in the air, and like just really trying to make us feel relaxed and at home and just mellow out. So, and by the time we got there, we spent a good hour and a half beforehand getting things taken care of before we left. So we left later than we would have liked to, but we got there about 6 o'clock or 6:30, something like that. And by that time, he was just like, "Do you guys really want to go out and go running around to a food store and whatnot? Like, I know you guys just took the long ride up here." Now, a couple weeks back, I had taken a trip to Kentucky, so for me, it wasn't that long of a ride, but it was still long enough that like my tailbone hurt, and I really didn't feel like running around after the drive. There was a lot of traffic in New York, but he was just like, "I'm going to order some pizza. Is that cool?" And I was like, I haven't had pizza in a while. Sounds good to me. I don't eat crust on pizza, but I do eat, thin crust pizza, whatever. He's like, we got a really good pizza place over here. What's your toppings? I said, well, I like onions and black olives. And my girlfriend likes the same. And he likes pepperoni and onions. So we got all onions, half and half, pepperoni and olives. And I had a piece of pizza, and that was good. And then, like, later on, I had another piece of pizza. And, so that was like the first night. Then in the morning, we woke up and had oatmeal, and he made us tea. And, like, it was so good. It was so relaxing. He really made us feel at home. Now, the second day, we got in touch with another guy, Tom, and we went to a hot dog place that was celebrating 80 years of, 80 years of service, really. And they were celebrating with 80-cent foot-long hot dogs, which was cool. I hadn't had a hot dog in a long time, and I was really looking forward to trying one. However, I don't think it was the best hot dog I've ever eaten. On hot dogs, I judge like two different things. Of course, there's the snap. The skin, the casing has to be really good and like have a good snap to it when you bite into it. So there's that, and there's the density of the meat. And I wasn't really impressed by either one. What I was impressed with was the service, because they had maybe 200 people there when we got there. And, we had to wait a little while, but the service was fast and it was great. They were very nice and very, accommodating to someone like me who had never been there before and didn't know what I wanted. And the other thing I liked was the bun. It wasn't a standard hot dog bun, in the sense it was I guess it was a butter bread roll. It was really, really strange because I've never had this before. But it was like a piece of bread, but it was like molded in a certain way, and it was butter bread. Like, it was like as if you like took bread and toasted it with butter on a skillet or something. It was amazingly good. And I'm not one to eat bread either, but in the same day, my girlfriend made her like famous like mac and cheese, which was amazing. And I don't eat pasta either. And I eat pasta because I'm going to make the exception for the mac and cheese, because, oh my God, it was delicious. And so I had a little bit of that, and she made two of them, one with a crumb topping, breadcrumb topping, and one without. And I tried the breadcrumb topping. I tried a little bite of that, and I really thought that was amazing. But I didn't want the breadcrumbs and all that in there, so I just ate the regular one. Now, Tom, on the other hand, he had like 5 plates and a food baby. So I'm guessing that, he really liked it. Kyle had some of it. Later on in the night, this guy Jason came with his daughter and his girlfriend, and his daughter was so friggin' adorable. I mean, just cutest little thing ever. And but she had to be put to bed early, so they did have to leave early. I didn't really get to talk to them as much as I would have liked to. But it is what it is. Life happens, and that's fine. I understand it. Next time. But Tom is like a very soft-spoken but really funny guy. Kyle is just so enthusiastic about so many things. Him and I had so many things to talk about, so many different subjects, different outlooks on different things, which was amazing to talk to somebody about things of that nature that I haven't talked to about in so long. We ended up that night, we went out shopping, we did some other things, we came home, we made the baked mac and cheese, we ate the baked mac and cheese. Then we did a podcast. Now, my girlfriend did a podcast with Kyle, aka Elder Tenchi on YouTube, and they had done a podcast about 5 or 6 years ago. And this podcast was basically, looking in on herself and, realizing some of the things in her life that she wasn't happy with. Now, if you don't know, my girlfriend has a book available on, I think it's available on Amazon, and it is basically an inner thoughts, book about some of the thoughts about herself and life growing up in the situation she did. Some poetry, some, different things, and it is such an amazing, self-realization book. And I definitely recommend it. I will go ahead and link the Amazon as well in the description, along to the podcast we did. The podcast was, basically a part 2 of that podcast. Unfortunately, coming into YouTube and everything, a lot of people tend to, start off in a very amateur place. And, while he has the vocal skills and uh, the motivational speech of, the kind of like a DJ, he has that, flow. And, while he has that, and, it was a good conversation, the software he was using was not, it was like a demo. So, of course, in the background, there's like this voice talking over and over again, saying the same thing. And, demo software, it's just part of the, learning process and the learning curve that comes with YouTube and, doing podcasts and doing other things like that. So, this time around, he's a little more on the professional game. He's gone to school for broadcasting and things of that nature. So it was really cool to have some conversations with him about that, because I'm audio and video productions, I'm into music and recording and audio engineering and stuff like that. So I'm big on all of it. And we had a lot to talk about. But for the podcast, it was, mostly about Allie, and I jumped in with some of my insight as well. And Tom even jumped in with some of his insight, and Kyle jumped in with some of his insight. All of our kind of things in life that we, self-reflect on and realize, how the things we project, the way we project ourselves and the goals we have and the way we accomplish them, and just all kinds of different things. I'm going to go ahead and link that down below as well. You guys can check that out. It's on youtube.com/eldertenchi. And he does a lot of podcasts about all different kinds of things. If you like all things nerdy, if you like all things, that are, in that realm, check him out. He has got some amazing insights on some amazing things. And, a lot of it is very nostalgic, which is awesome. It takes me back to my childhood when I listen to some of this stuff and the different aspects, that him and his guests and, other, co-hosts on the show have about this. And what I'm going to do is I did take some video from the, podcast session, and I'm going to be uploading that, within the next week. And I'm also going to do some special music stuff, which I'm not going to say too much about right now, but I'm getting back into doing music stuff, and I'm going to be posting some music stuff and some really funny stuff and some new stuff. But it's all in the future here. It's all in progress. It's all being worked on, and that's all I really can say about it. So with that said, we left Connecticut with heavy hearts and heavy, minds, with so much knowledge and so much friendship and such good times there. Over that weekend. And to leave, it was very heavy on our hearts. We made some really good friends there. I made some really good friends there. And I definitely am looking forward to going back and doing that again in the future. But anyway, on top of that, this week, I beat myself up a little bit last week about my weight, about my gaining 10 pounds out of nowhere, and how I didn't exercise that much, and I ate a bunch of weird stuff, and maybe, water weight, and maybe muscle mass, and who knows why. But the problem was that I weighed myself at a dialysis clinic, which I really thought was going to be a very accurate, determination. However, when I weighed myself at home, I was a lot lighter, and I was a lot confused. But when I weighed myself at a friend's house, a couple days later, I was around the same weight as my scale at home. So I was like, wait, is that scale really that off? And I guess it is, because I weighed myself, in the middle of the week this week, and I gained 3 pounds. I was up to 353 again. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I'm working out, I'm walking around, I'm doing things, I'm sweating like a fucking pig in a sauna, and, I'm eating, pretty damn good. And I was really kind of beating myself up again. But then I weighed myself yesterday, and I was back down to 350. And I'm like, so over the course of a week, I gained 3 pounds and lost 3 pounds. It fluctuates. And that's, of course, what my girlfriend and I talked about this past week was getting on the scale. Because if you get on the scale like every day or every other day, you're going to become obsessed, and it's going to become an obsession for you, and you're going to go nuts because weight fluctuates from day to day. Now, granted, before I weigh myself, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to get every bit of extra weight off of me that I can, everything out of my pockets, shoes off, whatever, just to get that extra couple of pounds of, like off. But, granted, it's a little ridiculous, but it's really not at the same time. So I did all that. I weighed myself. I was happy that I didn't really gain or lose weight, over the course of the week. So I think that I'm going to stick with what my scale says at home. And I'm not going to freak out about what any other scale says, because my scale is right, according to two different scales at two different places. So, like, the old saying, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. And that's exactly what I'm taking from this. On top of that, I'm going to be doing, the video of this podcast and everything. And today I had an experience which was very strange. I went to see my girlfriend's father for the first time in like 4 or 5 years. The last time we talked, I was in a very bad place, and he could read that on me. And he really saw that as I'm not good enough for his daughter. And at the point, yes, I was not. I was definitely not. I've always thought I was a really good guy, and that was a positive. But at the same time, I wasn't doing any good for myself. And by not doing any good for yourself, you can't really do any good for, other people in the way that you should, in the way that you can. And he said a lot of hurtful things, not directly to me, but, to her about me. And I did, of course, hear those things, and, I was there for those things. And he realized that, and he realized this time he wanted to give me the fair shot, and I wanted to give him a fair shot, because I know that, yes, people can be assholes sometimes, but it's not all that they are, there's good in everybody, whether you're an asshole or not. So, yeah, there's that. But I wanted to go into this and give him the fair, benefit of the doubt. And I did. And we had a great conversation. I expressed to him, my intentions and, my goals and the things that, I want for myself and my girlfriend out of life in general. And it's so much more because the surgery has opened so many doors for us that, we just want to go through all of them. And while some of them aren't really that realistic, we still have them as goals because we want to do them. And it would be great. So he was very impressed with that. And I really was impressed with the way that things came together. I was impressed with the way he took me, from that bad place and put me in a better place. We did have quite the discussion afterwards, about all kinds of things. And, so that was really good. But one of the things we did talk about was my dental work. And as of late, this past week, I went and got root canal done, and I'm getting 2 crowns done. And that's great because that will allow me to also get my impressions done in the same day. And guess what? I'll finally have teeth after like 8 or 9 months because I've been waiting so freaking long to be able to chew out of the front of my mouth. And it's just a relief. It really is. So, with that said, I definitely, again, want to shout out Sheila. Thank you, dude. Fist bump. You are awesome. Thank you so much for, your reaching out to me. And of course, my thing lately to say is let's be our best selves together, because we are a group and we are a community here on YouTube. And that's what I want. I want us to all be our best selves together instead of, so far apart and spread apart in our ways that we can't see eye to eye on things, because we're all people. We all bleed the same blood. So let's do it. Let's be our best selves together. That's all I got for this week. Thank you guys so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.